Are you sick of dying from raids? Are sieges getting between you and your success as a colony? Did an army of robots show up at your doorstep, ready to destroy you? Well, look no further, for you have found the guide that will keep you and your colony alive. Yes, I did just suggest Rimworld could kill you. In this video, I will be talking about basic defenses early on in the game and some advanced concepts to follow late game in Rimworld that will hopefully keep your colony alive and will long enough to, finally escape the Rimworld that your colony has crash landed onto. Anyway, let's get started. One of the best things you can do early for defenses is build a few sandbags near your base in a nice strategic location. If for some reason you don't have steel for the sandbags, then create some dumping stockpiles and restrict them to only use stone chunks. These stones can be used as very basic cover, and this will allow your colonists to have an edge in early raids. The next basic kind of defense for early on, and well, the rest of the game really, is what I'm going to call the box method. This represents building a box of sandbags around one colonist and replacing one of the sandbags with a wall. An optional addition is to also build a chair in the middle of the square for the colonist to sit in. This will yield a comfort boost. Anyway, back on topic. This box method is one of the most effective defenses for a single colonist to have. It yields about 80% cover. Obviously, if the wall is on the side of the raider, the cover bonus is higher, so make sure the wall is on the side of the raider, that way the cover is maximized. So that was a few things you can do early on to ensure safety from raiders, but this alone will not stop raids and siegers later on in the game. So eventually you're going to want to make several things. One of the most important is a large outer wall with 1 or 2 openings in it. This is going to be used as a funnel for the raiders to walk through, and it condenses them. This alone is useful for several reasons. One of them is colonists shooting at raiders that are bunched up are way more likely to successfully shoot a raider than when they're spread out. This is mostly due to the reason that if a colonist misses a shot, then it's more likely for them to strike the person behind them. Another good reason to force raiders to bunch up is mortars. Bunched up raiders leads to easy targets for your mortars, and I can definitely tell you that the raiders will get wrecked if a mortar happens to catch them. The same is true for mechanoids as well. Mortars are honestly some of the best things you can have for defenses, especially against sieges, which I'm going to cover that later on. Anyway, after your wall is built, build a kill box inside each opening in your wall. Fill it with traps, a lot of traps. Then at the end of the kill box, build a personal kill box. That's what I'm going to call it, it's a personal kill box. This is basically a box with a lot of defenses and turrets to slaughter any enemies who survive your kill box. It's also going to contain your colonists as well. The kill box and the personal kill box should look something kind of like this. Make sure to have doors behind your colonists' cover, that way they can easily retreat if need be. This also leads into the next step, which is multi-layered defenses. So a good defense plan is to have a multi-layered defense system. This means having an outer wall, a kill box, a personal kill box, an inner wall, and a last stand location. This is what it's going to ultimately take to keep your colony alive in most situations, and this is also a counter to airborne raiders who can land anywhere in your base as long as there's no roof. Anyway, back on topic. This multi-layered defense system will take some time to make, and it's not expected that you build it all at once. This is an end goal basically. It's mostly to prepare for the final raids before you take off in your ship and win the game. Let me show you what it looks like to have this whole defense system function and also have things go wrong. So you're going to want to have some sandbags outside the outer wall with your mortar people set up on the inside of the base. Put your colonists into the sandbag covered area. Wait for the raiders to come to you. While they make their way to you, your mortars should hopefully wound them at least a little bit. They will engage your forces at the outer wall. Most raids you should win right then and there, but if you start to lose, like if you have a colonist go down or get killed, then retreat into your kill box. Make sure your turrets are up and ready to go. Also make sure your mortar crew is not on their mortars anymore and you move them up as well, because there's no point in them shooting their mortars anymore, as it's probably going to destroy your own base. If the raiders somehow get through your trap-infested kill box, then they will meet your forces in the personal kill box. This should be the ultimate end of any invading force from the outer wall. Now, a huge issue arises if you're invaded from the air. The mortars are basically useless if you're invaded by drop pods, and your outer wall will also be rendered useless, which also means your kill boxes are going to be useless. So, what do? When this happens, make your colonists retreat and regroup inside the inner wall. Do some reconnaissance around your base to find the locations of all the raiders. Once you figure that out, find the safest way to get outside your inner wall and into the battlefield. Avoid opening a door near an enemy at all costs, because your colonist is going to get lit the fuck up. That's no good. You don't want that. So send your people through the safest route and make a line of defense on the outside of the inner wall. There's a chance that the raiders will ignore your line of defense and just try breaking a wall to get inside your base. If this happens, retreat to the inside of your base and position your people near the wall that the raider is trying to break. The moment he breaks it, your colonists will let him the fuck up. Okay, airborne raids are very tricky to deal with, but if it's done right, you can suppress them quickly and safely. The last major issue to deal with is a siege. Sieges are basically a large band of people from a faction that come and try to eradicate your colony. They tend to come into the map and build a mini base of defense, then they attack you. If they brought mortars, then they will definitely mortar the fuck out of your base, so watch out for that. If they do that, keep your colonists spread out, but not too far apart, because the reason for this is if a colonist gets domed by a shell or something, then you can help them out quickly and they'll be fine. Another good reason is because once the siege starts, the mortar crews tend to leave their stations, which also, actually that reminds me, you should definitely be mortaring the fuck out of the enemies while they build the defenses. But anyway, no, our mortar crew will definitely leave their stations and join the frontal assault of your base. The enemy is going to come at your base with all of its power, so the safest way to dispose of them is retreating into your personal kill box immediately. Do your best to slaughter them then and there. If you are overrun, then retreat to the inner wall. If they somehow overrun you there as well, then retreat to your last resort area. If you don't have one, then just find a nice hallway, set up a quick defensive line in it, and at this point just, hope for the best. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to see more of my content and leave a like on this video if it helps you at all. Leave a comment if you have any questions or you just want to yell at me for how wrong I am. I mean, I probably am wrong about a lot of things, so feel free to correct me. Anyway, I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye.